the real-world situation, and what it could mean for Jason. Let us start with the honest conversation about what is happening in the real world around the actor who plays Jason, because General Hospital fans deserve to understand what they are watching when they watch Jason navigate his return to Port Charles. And the specific kind of vulnerability the character has been written with this summer may be more than just storytelling. The actor returned to the show just last month after a significant absence. His return was celebrated, carefully constructed, and has been producing some of the most emotionally rich scenes the show has done in years. The Jakarta trauma, the decision to walk away from Sunny, the specific and careful attention to Danny. All of it has been written with real sensitivity to who Jason is coming back as versus who he was when he left. But the personal reality outside the show has been complicated. A custody battle over his 12-year-old daughter has been escalating through the summer with the specific ugliness that family court battles acquire when both parties are entrenched and hurt and operating from the specific pain that comes from fighting over a child. Accusations filed in both directions. Questions about stability and consistency and what the child needs versus what each parent is capable of providing right now. The kind of situation that pulls at a person's attention and energy regardless of their professional commitments. Fans have been watching carefully and speculating. Does this mean another hiatus is coming? Another departure? This specific pattern of real-world complications producing storyline exits has happened before with this actor, and the audience has learned to read the signals even when nothing official has been announced. What makes the speculation genuinely plausible is the narrative setup. Jason has been written as someone who might logically leave Port Charles. He quit the mob. He is trying to build a different life centered entirely around Danny. He told Carly he does not have the next chapter figured out yet, but that everything has to come second to his son. The story is fully prepared for Jason to take Danny and go somewhere quieter, somewhere with less danger attached to his name and his history. That departure would be emotionally earned within the narrative rather than feeling like an abrupt exit for external reasons. Whether that departure is temporary, a hiatus that allows the actor to deal with his personal situation before returning, or something more extended depends on circumstances that are still unfolding. What is certain is that the show has built Jason's current chapter in a way that honors the complexity of who he is coming back as while also giving the story room to breathe in either direction. He could stay and begin the Yelku chapter that Carly suggested. He could go, and the show would honor that too. Danny would go with him, presumably. The father-son trip earlier in the summer was the preview of this possibility. Jason and Danny in a simpler space, with the complicated weight of Port Charles temporarily set aside. That might not be just a vacation. It might be the beginning of a different kind of life. What we do not want is for the audience to be blindsided. If Jason's story is heading toward another departure, the storytelling has been careful enough to make that departure feel like a choice the character is making rather than something being imposed on the narrative from outside. And that is the best possible version of how these situations get handled, with dignity for the character and honesty about the story being told. Whatever comes next for Jason, the return he made has already produced storytelling worth watching. And Port Charles always holds a place for the people who belong there. Nina's warning, and the darkness that is closing in. Now let us talk about what Nina said and what it means that every single scene in the Willow-Michael storyline now carries a quality of dread that was not there at the beginning of the summer. Nina did not mince words. She looked at her daughter, the person she has protected and covered for and put herself at risk for across this entire summer, and said the situation had spun completely out of control. She said things could escalate until something truly tragic happens. She said it with the specific weight of someone who knows what she is talking about, who has watched this feud from the inside, who understands exactly how far both of the people involved are willing to go. Longtime soap opera viewers know what that kind of warning means. It does not exist in a script to be ignored. It exists because the writers are telling you what is coming. Not immediately. Not in the next episode. But inevitably, in the way that things built with this much pressure and this much accumulated damage always arrive at their breaking point. The darkness that has been circling this storyline all summer is now visible. Not lurking anymore. Present. In the quality of the scenes. In the specific tension between characters who should not be this angry at each other, but who have pushed each other past every line they thought was uncrossable. in the children who exist in the center of the war and who are too young to fully understand why the adults around them are operating in a permanent state of barely managed crisis. Willow believes she holds the leverage right now. She moved into the gatehouse under duress, but she is not honoring the spirit of Michael's terms. She is looking for the edge, the angle, the next move. The acceptance was tactical, not genuine. And a Willow who is tactical and backed into a corner and looking for the next move is the most dangerous version of Willow that this summer has produced. Michael is not standing still either. He has Trina and Kai's affidavits. He has the phone record evidence. He has a position in the custody situation that is genuinely stronger than anything he had before they walked through his kitchen door. But having strength in a position and using that strength wisely are different things. Michael's confrontation with Willow, the rolling pin moment, the face-to-face versus sneaking up behind reference, was powerful and controlled in the moment. It was also the kind of confrontation that a person does not easily absorb and accept. Willow absorbed it. For now. Under the specific compulsion of having no other move. But the absorption is not the same as surrender. And Willow building toward the next moment when she has a move to make is the engine of everything that is coming. Brennan's position in the middle of all of this is what elevates the stakes beyond what a typical custody dispute can produce. He knows too much. He has been too involved. And his genuine feeling for Nina means his protective instincts are going to activate in ways that put him in the path of whatever Willow does next. The scenario where Willow moves against Michael and Brennan ends up in the crossfire, caught between the action Willow takes and the consequence she did not intend, has a specific dramatic logic that the summer has been building without fully announcing. The threat to the children is the most emotionally urgent element of all of this. Wiley and Amelia exist in the center of a war that they did not choose and cannot fully understand. They know something is wrong. They feel the tension even when the adults around them are performing normalcy. And the possibility that the tragedy Nina warned about involves harm to those children is the fear that makes every viewer hold their breath a little through every scene where the kids appear. A car crash. An accident. A confrontation gone wrong. The specific forms that soap opera tragedy takes when the pressure has built high enough are not accidental in their variety. The show is leaving the specific shape of what is coming unannounced, which means every scene is now a potential site of the thing that finally breaks this situation past the point of management. Nina knows. She said it. And Port Charles is going to have to live through what she saw coming before anyone around her was ready to hear it. Brennan in the crossfire and everything that builds to his exit. And finally, let us put the full picture together, because everything that has been developing around Brennan's confirmed fall exit, when placed alongside the Willow-Michael-Nina disaster that is building, produces a scenario that is more complicated and more personal than a clean, heroic death in a WSB showdown. Brennan has been Nina's person this summer. Not formally, not yet in the full sense of a committed relationship, but moving toward that, meaningfully, in a way that has been visible and genuine. The chemistry that fans have been responding to between these two people is real. The history of their dynamic, Nina saving him, the unexpected warmth that developed from that specific circumstances, the humor and the ease that their scenes have carried, has produced something that matters to the audience. That emotional investment is exactly what the show needs before it can take Brennan away. You cannot lose someone who has not been established as significant. The summer has been the work of establishing Brennan as significant to Nina, to Port Charles, to the audience. The fall is when that significance is tested by his absence. The specific scenarios through which Brennan might exit now number more than one, and each of them has a different emotional coloring. The Jens escape scenario is the clean, heroic version. Jens breaks out of custody in the fall. Everything becomes urgent. Brennan makes good on his promise to Laura. He goes after Jens with the specific purpose of a man who is committed to something and means to see it through. The showdown happens. Brennan dies protecting the town and the people he cares about. The Willow crossfire scenario is the more complicated and more intimate version. Willow in a desperate moment of action aimed at Michael. Something going wrong. Brennan in proximity, because his instinct to protect Nina and her family has placed him in the space where things go wrong. Dying not as the intended target, but as the consequence of someone else's desperate choice.